What's up, guys? It's real early. I just finished CrossFit. That's a new thing for me. It sucks. Been going to the gym for as long as I've been programming, but CrossFit totally kicks my butt. And yeah, it's good though. I wanted to talk a little bit about that and what I got going on today. So there's I posted some content like on imposter syndrome, things like that. My window up one sec. Too much noise. By the way, I'm getting a mic. It should come tonight. So going forward, all the videos after. I haven't tried it out obviously because I don't have it on me, but videos going forward should be a little bit more clear. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this idea of like kind of like imposter syndrome, but like more around this idea of like getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because I'm very bad at it. Very bad at it, but you know, when I've written about this before, I recognize how valuable it is, and it's easier, like in hindsight, it's easier said than done kind of thing, but putting yourself into situations where you're no longer an expert, like it's a new domain, you kind of have to be a beginner and really have, you know, a growth mindset, I think is really important. But it is uncomfortable, and kind of like almost like a paradox, I guess. You know, when we start getting comfortable with things, that's usually when we're not really growing much, right? When you have these, man, it's really bright. When you have these really uncomfortable situations, so say you're starting a new job in a new domain, like you're going to, relatively speaking, probably have rapid growth. Now, there's other factors, right? Like you might be on a crappy team and no one's giving you work to do or something. Maybe you're not going to grow that much. But all things, you know, equal, when it's a new domain and you're no longer an expert and you have to sort of take on this beginner mindset, these are really good opportunities for growth. But the thing is, I think for a lot of people, like I know especially for myself, it's wildly uncomfortable to go from being like, okay, I know my stuff, like starting to feel like I'm building expertise in an area, to, okay, you know nothing. And the reason that's relevant today, and like I want to talk about it today, is because CrossFit is a thing like that for me. So I just wanted to give you like a parallel into different parts of life, not because I'm like a life coach or something, but I just thought it was a cool analogy that maybe you can think about. So I've been going to the gym since I was like 14, like consistently. So 6 or 7 days a week. I used to do like hobby. I say hobby because I didn't like the idea of competing, but like powerlifting, and then I did like amateur competitive bodybuilding. So I've been going to the gym for a long time, and it's part of my lifestyle, right? Like when I think about my lifestyle, it's much like a bodybuilder, because I like to eat the same things over and over. I like to have a consistent diet. I like training like a bodybuilder. But I had a recent experience where, this over the past few months, my gym closed down, unfortunately. Not my gym, like the gym I was going to. So I found another gym locally, much closer, and long story short, they had a bit of a weird trainer / staff there that was accusing me of like leaving weights and stuff on machines and stuff, and which, I mean, on the surface isn't a really big deal if I would have done that, but he was trying to say that I was like a repeat offender, and every time I go to the gym I'm doing it. And I just told him, like, hey man, like, it's just not true, because it's not. And I just told them that I go to a different gym, because like I'm 35 years old, and I'm not going to be like, number one, I don't want to be policed like that at a gym, especially because I do put my weights and stuff away. Like, that's just etiquette. I've been going to the gym for a long time. And then to be accused of it, I'm like, nah, like, not for me. Like, I got other things to do than, you know, have to worry about my gym time and being like falsely accused and stuff. So I said, screw it, like, you know, cancel my membership on the spot. And I had told my wife before, like, I would do CrossFit with her when I was getting older, because realistically, I'm not going to be a professional bodybuilder. It's not an interest of mine, and like, it's way too much like commitment for your life and your health. So you know, for me, I just figured, like, as I got older, CrossFit would make more sense, more cardio and stuff like that, but it kind of happened a little bit sooner than I thought. So the reason that this comes up for like a beginner mindset is, like, I've been going to the gym for a long time, but I've been not been doing CrossFit, right? So I'm reasonably strong for my size. Like, I'm 5'4", 180 pounds. My max bench is 320 pounds. Max squat is just over 400. Like, I'm not freakish or anything like that, but I'm reasonably strong for a little dude. And you know, I'm not like a freaky big muscular person, but like, people generally seem to know that I go to the gym, so they can tell, which is nice. But I walk into CrossFit, and like, my first CrossFit workout was supposed to be 30 minutes long. I got 3 minutes in and almost blacked out. I've never almost fainted like that in my life. And I remember sitting down, and my wife had to come over to give me gummy candies so I could, like, come back to life. And I couldn't even open my eyes. So she was holding out gummy candies for me, and I was like, Leah, I can't see what you're holding. So for me, this is like a very much embrace the uncomfortable, right? Because this is an area, like I said, I've been going to the gym for forever. Like, I should be very comfortable there, but I'm not, and it's exposing a lot of things that I am weak at, that I don't have good practice, I don't have some skills, I don't have mobility. And I just thought it was interesting, because in this case, sure, it's definitely uncomfortable, but I feel a lot more like willing, if that makes sense. And I don't understand why, personally, but I'm not like shying away from it. I'm like, yeah, I know I don't have mobility, I know I don't have cardio. And I wonder if part of it is, like, at different points in my training over, you know, the past 2 decades, I have been very mobile at some points. I have had good cardio at some points. And maybe I'm just like, oh, I know I can do it because I've literally done it before. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's a little bit of a difference. Whereas for us in software engineering or other parts of your career in life, you might be like trying something new and it's uncomfortable and you feel like a beginner. And maybe you haven't proven that you've been able to have some of these skills and stuff before, so maybe that's why it's a lot more resistant for us. But I wanted to talk about it because I think it's important that, not all the time, right? Like, you probably want to get to a point where you start to build expertise and comfort in areas, but you have to find that sweet spot where you're saying, okay, like, I feel like I have built expertise, and it's time to try something new so that I can build more skills and have more perspective. So this is something in my career that's happened a lot, but it's almost like a forcing function. And I've talked about this before in interviews and written about it, but the idea is, like, I'm pretty conservative, so when I do become an expert, and I should say, like, an expert, air quotes, right? Like, I feel very comfortable in an area, I have confidence. I stay with it. Like, I'm not living the advice that I'm telling you. And, like, this is me, like, kind of acknowledging, right? Like, and as I said, I've written about it and stuff, but it's scary. It's scary to, like, go and, like, do something that you're a total beginner at, and it feels like you're giving up being an expert. Well, it's not the case, right? Like, for the example with CrossFit for me that I was giving, I've been bodybuilding for forever, so it doesn't mean that just by stopping, all of a sudden all of my experience regarding nutrition or hypertrophy for bodybuilding, like all of that just disappears. It's not what it means. And the same thing when you have domain expertise. Like I used to work in digital forensics, so sure, I'm not up to date on the latest trends and stuff, but I built a foundation working in digital forensics. Like I understand a lot of the concepts because I built the expertise there. So generally I kind of avoid this discomfort of like, oh no, I'm going to be a beginner. But call it fortunately or unfortunately, I guess, I've had different points in my life where there's been a forcing function that's kind of put me into a spot where it's brand new. And I just want to, like, as I'm driving, I want to see if I can just recall a couple of them. But I mean, maybe not a forcing function, but like when I took the job in digital forensics, this was a new domain. So not necessarily a forcing function, but that was a big jump into like, here's something brand new. So you're a beginner. Within my career in digital forensics, right, I became a manager very fast. So again, not quite a forcing function, and it's just because no one made me, forced me to be a manager, but it was kind of like, hey, we need managers, and you seem to be able to talk to the team, so do you want to do it? So they kind of put me into a spot where it was uncomfortable. When we were building digital forensics tools, I worked with a colleague, and we saw a need where we were building mobile acquisition tools, so like stuff to recover information from phones. And without getting into the details, just because I don't know if it's proprietary or not, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but there was a need, and did we know what we were doing? Like, no, but we came up with the solution, and it worked. And the next, many years after that was kind of like I had forced myself into this position where I was leading the team that did mobile acquisitions. So it kind of like put me into this spot where I had to do it. Microsoft is another obviously very recent example. When I started, I was managing a deployment team. And, oh man, it's super bright. I knew nothing about deployments at all, right? Like I'd never worked with data centers or anything like that, big distributed systems. So again, my role was this forcing function where it's like, look, you're about to learn it, man. So there was that, and then obviously my most recent team is routing plane in Microsoft 365. So my manager hired me knowing that I don't have experience with firewalls and routing. Like, he knew that. So there's, again, this forcing function. Like, we know you're going to learn. Get on board and start learning. So every single one of these experiences, I said this at the beginning of this little video, but every single one of these experiences results in like very interesting growth. And I'm kind of saying this on camera to tell you and be like, I'm sharing this knowledge with you, but it's almost like I'm trying to remind myself, because I am bad at doing this. And when you reflect, maybe you've had a bunch of experiences like this too, but at least when I reflect and I go like, yeah, that was a forcing function. This caused me to be uncomfortable, to feel like I'm a beginner. Every single one of those opportunities resulted in something like truly great in terms of career growth or just experiences. So I think that's super important. It's kind of like some meta concepts for your life and your career, I guess, because I know everyone's got more specific focuses, and that's good. We're all super busy. We all got lives to live. We got our careers, we got our families, we got friends, we have our hobbies. So this is kind of just like one of those underlying things. If you can kind of weave this into different parts of your life, you might find like, I don't know, like a lot of areas that you just didn't realize were like pretty interesting to you. So that's that, the end. No, I'm just kidding. But because I still gotta drive and you're stuck with me. Unless you want to stop the video. But you wouldn't do that, would you? Would you? Yeah, so CrossFit was this morning. I wanted to say what I said because I was thinking about the CrossFit stuff, but I wanted to give you a little update on what today is. It's a Friday, so Fridays are generally lighter for me at Microsoft, and I don't mean because suddenly there's no work, because I wish that was the case, but it's not. They're lighter just because Fridays in our org are generally like a no meeting Friday. And the funny thing is, as a manager, like most of my job is meetings. And I don't mean like most of my job is making engineers sit in meetings. I mean most of my job is like coordinating with other people and meeting with them. So when I have a no meeting Friday, that means that like some of my things that I do day to day just don't get done. So it looks very different for me. That's why I say it's lighter. But it's a really good opportunity because I have other stuff I do that's not meetings, and it feels like it piles up when we got meetings and stuff through the week. So it'll be a little lighter today. It's also kind of funny because it's no meeting Friday, but there's a couple of us that we go, hey, you don't have meetings on Fridays, right? No? Okay. Let's meet, because we know that our schedules are free. So I work really closely with one of my PMs on the team, and he's absolutely awesome to work with. I don't suspect he'll ever watch one of these videos, which is fine, obviously, but I think very highly of him. He's extremely intelligent. He's easy to work with, so I feel like we get a lot of stuff done. So I really look forward to our meetings on Fridays because it's like I get a bit of a brain reset. I can recalibrate with him. Like I truly feel like I have a partner at work to be able to like push through on complicated things. So super awesome guy to work with. So I'm looking forward to that today. It was funny because I have a conflict this morning, and for our meeting, and I remembered like at 11 o'clock last night, I was like, oh man, I forgot to tell him. So super funny. Sent him a message at like 11. And for a lot of us, we're like, sometimes my boss will message stuff at like 4 in the morning, but like we've all been very clear, like don't respond to stuff like that's late. It's just that everyone has different working hours. Some people might be up for whatever reason, and like, don't worry. So I sent him a message at 11, figured he'd see it in the morning, and he responded right away, and he was like, I literally just moved our meeting because he also had a conflict, which is just kind of funny. So yeah, it just worked out really well. But the conflict I have is because it's going back almost a month now. I have an interview scheduled with an individual who is an ex-VP at Amazon. His name is Ethan Evans, and I can't remember exactly how it came up. It was on LinkedIn. They were doing a bit of a checking in to see like if he could get on some podcasts and stuff. So I just reached out and said, hey, here's my audience size, here's what they're interested in, and got things scheduled. So it's finally the day. But the reason that this is so funny or interesting is you might recognize the name. I don't think everyone does, obviously, but you might recognize the name Ethan Evans because very recently he posted a LinkedIn post that went super viral. Now, if you're not a content creator, and I feel like a lot of people watching this aren't, generally when you're making like text posts or any type of post, you usually have a hook. And it's right at the beginning of your post. You're just trying to capture readers' attention because everyone's scrolling. You want to like captivate them. And his hook was something along the lines of like, I used to work for a CEO that seduced my wife, and he won, and that was the hook. So everyone's like, dude, what the hell? and I'm not knocking the post. I can't remember what the whole post is about, but just like I mean, that's a hook. Because I saw this post all over different social media platforms from non-tech people and stuff, so I guess it did its rounds. But I'm interviewing him, which I think will be really cool. Not because of that. I'm probably not even going to mention the post. But, he seems like a very interesting individual, and we're going to talk about the perspective of sort of like executives and high-level, C-suite kind of perspective on engineers and like what they're looking for helping seeing engineering growth and helping engineers level up in their career. So obviously I have an engineering manager's perspective, and he's going to be trying to share from like that level what people are looking for, what qualities stand out and stuff like that. So I thought that'll be a very interesting topic, and I'm hoping people can get value out of that. So I'm home. I'm going to turn this video off. Yeah, stay tuned for that. That'll probably go up in 2 weeks or so. And I think it's going to be cool. But I hope you enjoy these. It's a little ride home from CrossFit. Next one's probably, you know what? Monday's a holiday. So you'll never see another one of these again until next Wednesday. So take care. Enjoy your weekend. If you're watching this before the weekend, if you're watching this at some random arbitrary point in the future, I hope you have a good one. And I'll see you later.